Good afternoon, children.
Good afternoon.
We were learning about different types of tissues. What are the 4 types of animal tissues? Joseph, name the 4 types of animal tissues. The question was so quick, no? You didn't get time to settle. Yes, Joseph?
Yes, ma'am.
Which are the 4 types? 4 basic types. At least one you say. Completely those. Yes?
Epithelial tissue.
Epithelial tissue. Then epithelial tissue. Shankari, which are the other 3?
Connective tissue.
Connective tissue.
Muscular tissue.
Muscular tissue.
Nervous tissue.
And nervous tissue. Joseph can repeat now.
Muscular tissue. Nervous tissue. Muscular tissue.
Again muscular. 2 muscular tissue. Epithelial tissue already said. Then muscular tissue. Connective tissue. And one more. Starting with the N.
Nervous tissue.
Nervous tissue. Connective tissue. Nervous tissue. Muscular tissue. Epithelial tissue. And we started with the epithelial tissue. And where can you find the epithelial tissue, Mishal? Where do you find it? Where do you find? Mishal vanished.
Ma'am, animal body.
That we know. That is why you call it as an animal tissue. Shivanya?
Ma'am, the cavities.
Only cavities.
Ma'am, covers most organs.
Where did you go? It covers the organs and the external part of your body. The entire body surface, the body organs, all these are covered and lined by epithelial tissue. And today we are going to learn about different types of epithelial tissue. You can categorize epithelial tissue into different types. First one, squamous epithelium. So the first type of epithelial tissue is squamous epithelium. Under squamous epithelium, there is simple squamous and stratified squamous epithelium. 2 types are there. We are going to start with the first one. Simple squamous epithelium is found in the lining of blood vessels, lung alveoli. So whether it is blood vessels or lung alveoli, you know that exchange of substances are taking place. Like if you take the case of blood vessels, lung alveoli, exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide is taking place through blood vessels, lung alveoli. So here transportation of substances are taking place through a semi-permeable or selectively permeable membrane, the plasma membrane. So it is found in cells lining the blood vessels and lung alveoli. And these are extremely thin and flat. They form a very delicate lining. They're very thin because exchange of gases should take place through this epithelium. So it cannot be very thick. So it is very thin and flat and delicate. And that thereby the exchange of gases can take place through, or exchange of materials can take place through this lining. And 2 locations where you can find this tissue are blood vessels and also lung alveoli. You can find squamous epithelium even in esophagus, mouth lining, etc. There also squamous epithelium is found. The lining of the mouth, the food pipe, etc. You can find squamous epithelium. So once again, squamous epithelium are of 2 types. Simple squamous epithelium and stratified squamous epithelium. And simple squamous epithelium, it is found in cells lining the blood vessels and lung alveoli. Both these, there is a similarity between both these structures because exchange of materials takes place across their membranes. Like you know that across the blood vessels or the membrane covering the blood vessels, oxygen and carbon dioxide is being exchanged, and lung alveoli, they are the sites of gaseous exchange. So this particular membrane is very thin, or the epithelium which lines the blood vessels and also the lung alveoli, it will be very thin and flat, so that easily the materials can be exchanged and they form a delicate lining. If it is very thick, then the exchange of materials cannot take place easily. And you can find squamous epithelium in the esophagus and also in the mouth lining. The next type of squamous epithelium
Ma'am, could you
is,
show the
I'll
slide?
repeat.
Okay, ma'am.
Stratified squamous epithelium. Strata means layers. So stratified means here instead of forming a single layer, it's multi-layered. Many layers are there. And one such example is your skin. Skin is made up of stratified squamous epithelium. And you know that your skin is the outermost layer of your body. And if it is made up of just one layer of cells, then wherever you touch, your skin or this particular tissue can get damaged. So it is formed of several layers to prevent wear and tear, to resist damage. They are made of several layers and they can provide maximum protection. Since they are arranged in a pattern of layers, you call this epithelium as stratified squamous epithelium. So from the previous slide, we will see once again. First, we learned about squamous epithelium. What did we learn about squamous epithelium? It is of two types. The two types of squamous epithelium are there. One is simple squamous epithelium. Where do you find them? In the cells lining blood vessels and lung alveoli. And across these membranes or across these cells or epithelial layer, exchange or transport of substances are taking place. And here you know the exchange is taking place through a selectively permeable membrane. So these blood vessels and lung alveoli are lined by they are protected by means of squamous epithelium, and exchange of materials will be taking place through a selectively permeable surface. And these cells are extremely thin and flat to facilitate better exchange. They form a delicate lining. And you can even see squamous epithelium in esophagus and the mouth lining. And then we learned about stratified. Simple squamous epithelium is single layered. It is single layered, only one layer. Whereas when it comes to stratified, the word meaning of strata is strata, layers.
Ma'am,
Ah,
this slide is points of simple epithelial.
no, stratified squamous epithelium.
Last slide.
That was of simple squamous epithelium.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, this one stratified, because here many strata or many layers of cells are present, and this is necessary for preventing wear and tear. Otherwise, it can get easily damaged. If your skin is covering the entire body, if your skin is just made of one layer, it can get easily damaged. But skin has to provide protection, so it should be made up of several layers. So stratified squamous epithelium is made up of several layers of cells, and that is to prevent wear and tear. It will protect the body. And the stratified squamous epithelium, its function is to provide protection to a body. Skin is an example for stratified squamous epithelium. Since they are arranged in several layers, this epithelium is known as stratified squamous epithelium. Okay. Have you completed?
Can you show the last slide?
No, ma'am.
Yes. I will. Just a minute. The main difference between simple and stratified is that in simple squamous epithelium, just one layer of cells. In stratified squamous epithelium, several layers of cells. And that is why it got the name stratified squamous epithelium. Completed? These are arranged
No,
in
ma'am.
several layers. Okay, write down. Once you complete, let me. Next one is columnar epithelial tissue. And columnar epithelial tissue, as the name suggests, it's made up of tall pillar-like cells. And you can find them in places where absorption and secretion take place. So in the previous one, in squamous epithelial tissue, I told you that these are found in places where exchange or transport of materials is taking place. But columnar epithelial tissue is found in places where absorption and secretion takes place. Say, for example, intestine. The inner lining of the intestine has got columnar epithelial tissue. Now, certain columnar epithelial tissues, they are provided with hair-like projections. You call these hair-like projections as cilia. So here you can see columnar epithelial cells with hair-like projections. And these are usually found in the respiratory tract. So the epithelial, the columnar epithelial cells found in the respiratory tract are provided with hair-like projections. And these hair-like projections are known as cilia. What is its function? So these cilia can beat and move. And when they are moving, they exhibit a wave-like motion. And when they are moving, they will push the mucus forward. So in the respiratory tract, mucus secretion can be there. So with the help of these cilia, cilia will be beating. When the cilia are moving, they will help in pushing the mucus forward and clearing the tract, clearing the respiratory tract. And when the columnar epithelial tissue is provided with cilia, you call it as ciliated columnar epithelium. Ciliated columnar epithelium. Where is ciliated columnar epithelium found? One example is respiratory tract. What is its function? So these cilia will beat. Cilium is singular, cilia is plural. Cilia. Okay, so these cilia will move and they will help in pushing the mucus forward and clearing the respiratory tract. So columnar epithelial tissue consists of tall pillar-like cells. The shape of the cell, they are tall and pillar-like, and they are found in places where absorption and secretion take place. One example, inner lining of intestine, and the columnar epithelial tissue, which is found in the respiratory tract, is having finger-like projections. You call it as cilia. What is the advantage of having cilia? These cilia will beat, push the mucus forward and clear the respiratory tract. So such an epithelium is ciliated columnar epithelium. Can I change? Ciliated columnar epithelium found in
And the second one, can you explain?
Second point.
Yes.
So your respiratory tract, your respiratory passage is having, it is lined by columnar epithelial tissue. And these tissues are having hair-like projections at its outer surface. So these hair-like projections are cilia. So they will beat, they will move. When the cilia is moving, that will help in pushing the mucus present in your respiratory tract so that the mucus will be pushed forward and the tract will be clear. Okay, Midun?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next is cuboidal. Cuboidal epithelial tissue. From the name itself, we can understand. These are cube-like cells. They are similar to cubes, cube-shaped cells. And you can find
This is
them.
third type.
Yes, third type. Squamous, columnar, cuboidal. Squamous, two types, simple and stratified. And cube-shaped cells. They form the inner lining of kidney tubules and the ducts of salivary glands. Where do you find them? In the lining of kidney tubules. And also you know that in the kidney, several tubules are there. Or kidney has got filtering units known as nephrons, which is a highly coiled tube. A tubule means small tube. So in the lining of kidney tubules, in the ducts of salivary glands, you know, salivary glands will produce saliva and that will be released into the mouth through salivary duct. Duct means a passage. So cuboidal epithelial tissue you can find in the lining of kidney tubules and ducts of salivary glands. And its function is to provide mechanical support. Columnar epithelial tissue help in absorption and secretion, whereas squamous epithelium helps in transport, helps in the exchange of materials or helps in the transport of materials across. Cuboidal epithelial tissue is made up of cube-shaped cells and you can find them in the lining of kidney tubules and ducts of salivary glands. Function, providing mechanical support. Okay, children? Can I wind up? One more tissue is there which you will learn in next class. Under epithelial tissue, you have one more glandular epithelial tissue which you will learn next class. Okay?
Okay.
Any slide, if you want to see it, I will just send in the WhatsApp group. Shall I stop sharing? Okay. Now quickly you can summarize. So I'll ask you a few questions. What are the two types of squamous epithelium, Alia? Two types of squamous epithelium.
Simple squamous tissue and stratified
Squamous epithelial tissue. One example for stratified squamous epithelial tissue, Krishnaveni. Where can you find stratified squamous epithelium?
I mean skin.
Skin. Why you call it a stratified? Shangari, why you call it a stratified? Tia, why it is known as stratified?
Ma'am, they are arranged in the pattern.
They are arranged in many layers to prevent wear and tear. They are arranged in several layers. Okay, then we learned about columnar epithelial tissue. What is the function of this particular tissue? They help in? Alina? They help in?
Absorbing and
secretion. They help in absorption and secretion. And where can you find ciliated columnar epithelium, Varada? Where do you find ciliated columnar epithelium? One example. Ciliated columnar epithelium. Many videos are of, with the videos of, don't expect to get the attendance.
I'm having some net issue, that's why.
Midun,
Namaste.
where do you find? Don't waste too much time. I'm not asking any tough questions. After repeating minimum 5 times, I'm asking these. Where can you find nose? I have specified. Have specified. It is related. Mishal, where it is?
Respiratory.
The respiratory tract. And when it is present in the respiratory tract, with the help of the cilia present in ciliated columnar epithelium, the mucus can be pushed forward to clear the respiratory tract. And where do you find cuboidal epithelium, Adnan? Cuboidal epithelium?
The lining of kidney.
Lining of kidney tubules and
Salivary gland.
ducts of salivary glands. You have to specify ducts of salivary glands and the tubules of kidney. And what function do they perform, Devika? What is the function of cuboidal epithelium?
It provides mechanical support.
Yes, it provides mechanical support. Children, till you say I'm just displaying the slide and I'm repeating again and again. So in spite of that, if you don't answer, means that is not fair. Till you understand or till you write it down, I'm waiting. So it is your duty to respond when I'm asking. Okay, you are taking so much time. When I'm asking, you're checking here and there. So you should learn along with me. Otherwise, why should I repeat many times? I can just say once or twice. No, minimum 4 or 5 times I'm explaining each and every line. That is, I want you to learn along with me. In the class itself, 75% of the topics you should learn. Yes, and keeping the videos off cannot be permitted. I have told every time, but children, how much time is being wasted just for saying this, you know? Okay, I have found a solution for that. I'll do it, okay? From today onwards, it will be put into practice. So today you are having test at 7. You all should, you don't have to join any board. You just access the link and then do it. And quickly we can have a recap of the points. Meristematic tissues. So plant tissues, you need to learn only about plant tissues. Plant tissues are broadly classified into? Anybody?
Ma'am, 2.
2 types. Which are those 2? Meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. Permanent tissues are further subdivided into complex and simple. Simple tissues, 3 types are there. Which are the 3 types of simple tissues? Parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. 2 complex types.
Xylem and
Xylem and phloem. And which are the actively dividing cells? Actively dividing, very actively dividing cells. Which tissue is made up of such actively dividing cells? Catherine?
Sclerenchyma.
You people are going to write the test today. Actively dividing, that is the most important feature. It carries out, or the growth is brought about by this tissue. Nobody knows? Meristematic tissue. Actively dividing cells are found in meristematic tissue and they bring about growth. 3 types of meristematic tissues are there. Who can tell the 3 types of meristematic tissues? Apical meristem, correct. Then lateral meristem, intercalary meristem. Out of these 3, which one is bringing about increase in the girth of the plant?
Lateral meristem.
Lateral. And which one or which all are bringing about increase in the length?
Apical
And also intercalary meristem. Apical and intercalary.
Lateral meristem is also cambium, right?
Lateral meristem, but they help in cambium means xylem, phloem. Then cambium is there in between xylem and phloem. Together we call it as vascular bundle. About cambium and all you will learn later. Okay. And
in textbook it is written lateral meristem, then bracket cambium.
it is mentioned in your book. I thought it is maybe in the new edition. In the old edition it was not mentioned. That is why I did not tell you about cambium. And it will help in, it is actually present. These are present between xylem and phloem. Okay, and together xylem, phloem, cambium, together we call it as vascula bundle. And lateral meristem will help in increasing the girth of the plant. Then the features of meristematic tissues. What are the, one is that they are actively dividing. What are the other features?
They have dense
Dense
cytoplasm.
cytoplasm,
In
then
cellulose wall.
a thin cellulose wall,
They lack vacuole.
lack vacuoles, prominent nuclei. Okay, good. Then 3 types of simple permanent tissues are there. Which among these are made up of living cells?
Parenchyma. and
Parenchyma and
Collenchyma.
collenchyma. Which among the following will provide flexibility to the plant parts? Which one provides?
Collenchyma.
Parenchyma, sclerenchyma, or collenchyma?
Collenchyma, ma'am.
Collenchyma. Which among these 3 is made up of dead cells?
Sclerenchyma.
Sclerenchyma.
When parenchyma cells are having chlorophyll, you call it as
Chlorenchyma.
chlorenchyma. When parenchyma cells are having air spaces,
Parenchyma.
chyma. Okay, so let me take your attention. Thank you, children. Prepare well and score full marks for your test.
Thank you, ma'am.